Hey everybody, I'm Zach, and this is Zach Does All the Things. Today we're doing written word, so that means I'm going to show you how to do a concrete poem. A concrete poem can also be called a shape poem because you take the words of the poem and try to make them look like the subject of the poem. For my particular poem, I'm going to do a short poem about trees, and then I'm going to use my colored pencils and make a drawing of a tree using only the words of the poem. So I whipped up a short poem to use for this project. It goes like this. Trees are beautiful, trees are grand. They never move from where they stand. They never wander nor do they roam. Wherever they're rooted, that's called home. And I'm going to try to make a tree drawing out of these pieces. Well, let me show you how it's done over on the table. Hello, colored pencils. I've got my poem reference right here. I'll set that right there. And yeah, I'm just gonna get started making this tree. We're gonna go classic tree, I think. And that means I'm gonna need some greens, browns, and some blue for a light sky. We'll just try to make it happen here. Let's start with the grass. I just am going to write the poem at the bottom here. All the letters will be the grass. So you can see I got through one iteration of the poem, and there's actually kind of a neat little grass effect happening. I'm gonna write it again and just keep rewriting it until it looks like there's more grass there. And boom, look at that. I've written it twice here, and it does kind of look like a little grass outcropping in the middle of nowhere. Now the roots. And you can kind of take whatever you want out of the poem and put it into the thing. I'll just make a trunk. You can see I did a nice little iteration of it here, and look at that. It's like a nice little, not completely symmetrical tree trunk. And it's even got this little, I didn't space it out right, so it's got a little root popping out, which is kind of cool. So now I'll just fill in the middle with more of the poem. You see, I wrote it multiple times throughout that. You have to kind of follow it every which direction to read it, and I bounced around. I even made a little knot in the middle there with the word stand. But it kind of actually looks like a tree trunk, which I think is really neat. I find that because you have to work with the amount of words you had, you can kind of break rules and all of a sudden discover this interesting pattern down here of these broken up phrases is making sort of a real life tree trunk effect, which is really nice. Now I'll make the tree branches. I'll make the tree branches next. So with one iteration of it, I kind of bounced around. You can see if I hit an edge, I bounced over to the side, and that made a really interesting look. You can see there's this suggestion of maybe the negative space making the tree. And then, you won't always see the beginning of a branch, so I'll fill that in with green, and we'll make a little canopy right up here. I think I'm actually gaining a little bit off of having bad handwriting because it's making everything look a little off, which is more natural. I kind of like that look better. And look at that. We kind of have a nice little canopy of, I don't know how many times I used the poem that time, and you could get really small and detailed if you want. I'm not going to go through super deep with you guys, but if you can see, look at that. There's grass and a tree canopy there, and I'll throw in some blue sky behind it, and we'll call that a concrete poem. See, and now you got a little nice blue sky behind there, giving it some depth and perspective. And you could go further and further if you wanted to. You could fill in all of this. You could go in another layer in that and give it a bunch of writing. If you had a longer poem, that'd be really cool. And then you could also do little, like, you could write actual little circles of leaves and junk. I kind of like the way it is now. Just fill in some of the white space. You know, give it a little taste of some color in between. Although the negative space is doing a lot for me. And look at that. We made a concrete poem out of a tree. And I mean, I don't have great penmanship and I'm not a great artist as far as the drawing and painting world goes. But I think that looks pretty nice. It's definitely, I'm proud of it. And that's all that matters. There you have it. It's one silly attempt to make a tree out of a poem. Hey, there's so many more things you can do with this. I'm just amazed that just the variety you get out of drawing the actual letters in the stuff like the grass and in the side of the tree trunk, it really gives it a sense of life. And I mean, you could probably get the same feeling from scribbling, but then to know that there's a deeper meaning behind it, it actually is being built by some sort of lyric. It's really cool. I'm glad I tried it. I'll probably do more of this on my own because, I mean, I've seen these on online. You can go to different websites and type in something, and then you can use that. The cursor becomes kind of it becomes like a pen filled with the words. Just go look it up. Essentially, you can just move your cursor and it'll write with the words that you've picked, and that's fun and that's cool. That's how I got inspired to do this. But writing it out and using the colored pencils and giving it a whole dynamic life, I'm really proud of this one. But I'm always proud. So try it out yourself and see if it's as fun. I'm sure you can do way better than I can, way more detailed. You can get crazy, do more fun stuff like little twists and turns and bends and whatnot. But yeah, that was fun. So that's what we did. Concrete poem. This has been Zach Does All the Things. Until next time, see you then.